Peace, love, and light. I'm Jimmy, Soul Path Solutions. Just wanted to come and share. We just had what they call a blood moon. Definitely feel that any planetary alignments are significant. Just like the weather, the changes, the patterns, the different seasons that we come into, where we know that we're coming into winter, summer, spring, fall, days, the dates that those time periods fall on, as far as the equinoxes, summer, spring, equinoxes, the different time periods, summer solstice. So all these different time periods give us a a marker in significance of things that's taking place. So definitely on a spiritual level, as they say, as above, so below, as within, so without. Also, the kingdom of heaven is within us. So with knowing that the kingdom is within us, knowing that we are the church, our physical body vessels is the temple of God, and we're the body of Christ, then, and that this mind is in us be in Christ, so then we think with a God mind, with a Christ consciousness, with God consciousness. We move in the spirit and in the consciousness of God. That's why I say walk in the spirit, so you don't fulfill the deeds of the flesh or the lust. Or to be carnal minded is death, and to be spiritual minded is life. And we talking about that eternal life, life everlasting. So a lot of things that's taking place in the world are very significant, because there are markers for time periods that's significant. 2025, this being a 9 year. When you add up the 20 and the 25, 7, the 2 and the 5, 7, and then you add the other 2, that's a 9. So in the 9, it's like infinity, upside down, up and down. It's like, you flip it up, it's up, it's a 9, you flip it the other way, and it could be the 6. And then that number can be your negative and positive, the yin and yang sign. You see the pendulum that kind of swings back and forth. So negative and positive, good and evil, man and woman, union, those significance of that connection. Same way with an atom, electron, neutrons, protons make up the nucleus inside the atom. Cellular, on the cellular level. Our light body. Christ said he was the light of the world. So, our auric field, understanding how we are affected by the elements, the planets, the sun. It gives off what it does for the planet. Without it, we wouldn't be able to survive. The moon does what it does. It's significant. All of the planets have some kind of aspects of effect on us. The solar system, the constellation, and even seeing ourselves and our material makeup and our connection. When we look at the periodic tables and everything that we consist of, air, water, fire, earth, all of a part of the elements of life and existence is composed inside of us. So And as like I said, Christ's birthday was significant. All our born dates are significance. They have some significance. That's why we can see similarities in certain people, certain characteristics, and certain traits. So when we're looking at those things and we understand them, when the moon took place last night with the totality of the lunar eclipse, being that the moon was full, was the first eclipse of the year, and then the sun started moving in front of the moon, and it's like it started, and it cast a shadow, and then it creates what we see as that particular light that appears to be red. But the significance of me is not so much even just when you say, people say, oh, I went outside, and you looked at it. If you stayed up to that time, I think it was like 2:55 a.m. of our time, and then depending on what time zone you're in, because one place is getting dark, and somewhere else the sun is rising and setting differently. It's becoming night one place and day in the other, or 7 hours like Israel with 7 hour time difference. South Africa, Cape Town, 7 or 6 hour time difference. So that time zones are different. But the effects the winter have on us, the weather affects us a certain way. It affects how goods, if they come across the water on boats being shipped, you want good weather, not choppy weather, not stormy weather, not too wavy, for whatever containers are carrying products, goods, clothes, materials, vehicles, so much coming across from other places, from other countries, through the ports, over the waters, by way of traveling through the trucks, the big truckers, the rigs, carrying different products, carrying different goods. So the weather affect how quickly something can get to us, or how even flight with the planes, the air, the weather conditions. So our different seasons coming in, understanding them. We're definitely in a significant time period, which many say that we're in a reset. Found it interesting that March 14th was set for our government to determine whether we were going into the government shutdown, and March 14th was the deadline for them to go ahead, and they had met 0 of the 12 requirements to determine it as of yesterday, coming into the 14th. They may have or not, but if they did or didn't, we definitely will find out and know. But connecting to the higher things that really control what we physically see and govern us is very important. So going within ourselves, having an awareness, connecting, being able to hear, like as the Bible says, he that have an ear, let him hear what the Spirit is saying to the church being you, because we are the body of Christ, we're the temple of Christ. So we make up the church, and in the mind of God, the mind of Christ, as the Bible say, and then so therefore we having a Christ-like consciousness, a God mind consciousness, thinking godly, being godly, moving and acting according in certain ways, operating in a certain manner. Love, joy, peace, long suffering, having temperance, meekness, gentleness, patience, forgiveness, gratitude, hope, faith, endurance. These are different characteristics, different fruits spiritually that we're able to resonate within us, walk in, encompass, embody, and vibrate on, share. These are things that become noticeable when people interact with us. And it's much needed because a lot of things are turned up right now, heightened. A detrimental time period that we're in right now, which many will say last days, the end times, but very significant in moving forward and where we're at in our soul journey and our path and purpose and our destiny of why we're here, and what we're here for. Why did we come? What were we born here to do? Why did we come here on earth? Why were we born here on earth? What is our purpose? The purpose is just to be born, to grow up, to work, have kids and children like we were birthed through our parents, work on jobs, drive cars, live in homes, houses, apartments, shop in shopping stores, play sports, watch TV, be entertained or be entertainers, be famous, be celebrities, live normal life, live in the country, live off the land, live in the city, be in nature or not in nature. How do we end up in all these places or these conditions or these situations? Like, where did it start at? What started it? And where are we at now? And through the process, has anything changed? Have we grown? Have we become more self-aware of certain things? Do we have more discernment? Have we learned through our experiences of life? Like they say, iron sharpens iron. So have we been in a build and destroy process? Like when we work out, you tear the muscles down and you rebuild them and you build them back up. Has that been taking place? Are we growing, or are we staying the same? Because everything is advancing. Just like in the Matrix, it was a new civilization that was taking place. Just like it seemed like we're going through it. AI, technology, artificial intelligence, things becoming more like in the human aspect and the physical aspect of our appearance, the jobs and things that we've been able to do, technology is filling in and taking those jobs. Technology and robots and stuff are being able to efficiently do certain things at a consistent rate. As far as our body get tired, we get older, we can only last so many hours. A machine probably can push. Then it starts becoming where companies make business decisions, and then they may choose to get these things, because as you start seeing when we come into the stores now, whether normal people like you shopping in Walmart or whatever store that you might be going in to get groceries or do things, and you ever notice machine running, cleaning the floor, and it's got a camera and stuff on it, but it's moving by itself. Nobody driving or none of that. And it's so, but then there's a time when you have to see people that be sitting on the machine, driving those machines, controlling them. Now they having just, and that machine grabbing up, sweeping, sucking up dirt, clean the floor at the same time. Seeing you and us shoppers walking around the store and able to move out the way. Also in the restaurants, I seen the same type of machine where the tray and the plate was just set on the table, and then it was taking the order to the table and then coming back to the door where the orders are being placed on there, knew what table to go to. So we're definitely in like a, like the old movie The Jetsons, and the car flying and stuff. Like, we in that mode when you see these vehicles, now that they got vehicles out that can park themselves, can turn. Next, the more popular vehicle will be here. You ain't driving yourself, the vehicle driving you. You sitting in the back. It becomes the driver. You seen some of that in iRobot. A lot of movies that's been out. It's interesting how movies can been out for years and years, and then next thing you know, we start seeing these same technologies start being worked in, and so we just seen it like, oh, that was just a movie. But then no, these things were already built. We're just waiting for a time period to be introduced into our society. So then I think, also just like the old pay phones, the old beepers, the old type of phones that were bigger. Now you got the touch screens. When before, some of the video games was Nintendo, Atari. Now you got the different versions of the Xbox and the PlayStations. These different computers and that's out now were touch screen, and even the ones more modern where they taking them and it's almost like a movie projector, having the screen on the table and then they can move it around. So definitely the technology has advanced almost like on a Star Trek level. As far as that type of technology, you see it in different type of planes and stuff, being able to do things more advanced. So the society, so then we got to stay catching up on our skills of making sure that we stay able to, be able to earn a living, be able to live, provide for ourselves, and stay up to date with how advanced the technology is moving and going forth when you having a career and seeing about working in certain fields, because AI able to do a lot of things in a quicker time period than we can process stuff, crunch numbers, documents, the database to pull that quicker than we can do and think in our own mind. Not that our mind and certain levels of people's mind don't operate at that level, but then it seems like we're not even like in the older cultures. Certain things were taught to us a certain way when you were young, so those skill sets and abilities was definitely being sharpened. And then now more, some of the educational things and ways that we being taught already kind of program us to be a certain way, so that we won't be self-sufficient and independent, but reliant on someone else and dependent on to help us as far as resources. So it's a lot going on right now for us to be considering and thinking about, and really discerning the times periods that we're in, and knowing that you got so many heartbeats, you got so many breaths, and life hasn't been as long and as extended as it had been at some point. Meaning where people probably could, you've read somewhere say somewhere people living to be 300 years old or 200 years old. Now, if you get into 100, you're good. And people in our time period now living to be 100, 110, maybe 120, 115. So, but I do see a level of where we're getting back to awareness about what we put in our bodies, being healthier, controlling our stress factors, understanding our genetics and our genes, so that we controlling the things of saying, hey, because this condition was in certain family members had, don't mean that you gotta necessarily have that same condition, and that we have ability to create, to control ourselves, to control our genes. Our genes are being influenced by certain things. So having awareness on that thing so that we can move, so that we can be the healthiest and best version of ourselves that we desire to be. Although most of the times our focus gets pulled towards the things that's really not what we say. Like, you can see this is where I see myself and this is what I really want to be doing. But if your attention is pulled to the opposite of those things and in a different direction, and most of the times the picture and the view and the things that we hear are speaking against the actual life that you desire to live and the place that you really want to be walking in. Most times people not living that life or experiencing that life in that moment don't mean that they can't. And I think the challenge becomes being able to focus enough and become disciplined enough to create and manifest our life for ourselves. Just like this say, now faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of the things not yet seen. So my ability to focus on a thing, lock in on it, have the patience and the endurance to see myself to where I desire to be at and work towards those things. And I think it seems like a lot of stuff come up against it to make it feel like it can't happen. It's probably not happening. And then there's the challenges and hurdles and things that you have to overcome to get to that place. But just wanted to share some thoughts or some things and being reflective of I was experiencing getting some spiritual downloads through, not that I knew I was, but something happened with this lunar eclipse, which I wasn't paying attention in that aspect of it, but I was aware that something significant happened in my dream state and while I was resting. Because of the things that I can recall from my dreams that I remember and the significance of certain stuff that was taking place. And then even when I was awakened, because of what was going on and just the energy and stuff that I was feeling, and I knew the significance and just start putting the pieces together. So you gotta, paying attention, becoming more aware, because signs are always around us, speaking through everything that's around us if we just looking and paying attention, through numbers, time of the day, signs on vehicles, messages on tags, animals' appearances and showing, flagrant things like a flagrant foul in sports, the flagrant signs that be before us all the time. And some of us, we've been aware of it for some time. Some of us haven't. But as long as you start paying attention to those things and looking into them, so then, because we want to get out ahead of things, not and be more preventive, then we're just moving at the last minute, or things are just happening and we're not in control, or we're not rooted and anchored enough that if a storm or whatever blows, because weather and seasons will come and change, we're rooted and grounded enough that we can ride it out. We're stable through it. We're aware, so they ain't got to be in fear, afraid, depressed, sad. And staying hopeful, being confident, in spite of everything that we done been through. A lot of loved ones that aren't here, that's transitioned through all of the the things that's been attacking us on a physical level, on a health level, all of those challenges that some of us are walking through and facing right now. Because I would say that the furnace has been turned up high, but the heightenedness of it is to really tear down and prune the tree being shaken, and it's being pruned, because it said every tree that doesn't bear good fruit gonna be cut down because it's not needed. So it's got to get pruned, it's got to get trimmed so that it can bear the right fruit. You know, that tree being our life, the source of our life, us being rooted and grounded, and then us bearing the right fruits that nourish us, that replenish us. And, you know, we determine that. But I don't, everybody been dealt a certain hand. And some people's hand are more favorable than others. So, and you might get a rough hand, which your starting point seem like you feel like it's at a more disadvantage. Most likely it is. But it don't mean that that hand has to stay that way. And you can continue to play, and eventually you're gonna get a better hand. And then we'll start realizing that we controlling the hand that's being dealt to us. But if we've been tricked out of our position, if we've been tricked out of our inheritance, then we'll draw and attract the things that we say that we really don't want. Because the things that we say that we desire and want, we don't focus our attention on those things normally because we stay distracted. And our attention be on more of negative things, things that we don't want. And that's a habit. It could be a good habit or a bad habit, but it's still a habit. So sitting back, being still, be still, know that I'm God. God spoke out of this, a still voice out of the midst of the storm. And me, that's saying the storms that's raging in our life, whatever they are, that we have to get in a quiet place and slow down, pause, Selah, so that we can hear. Because most of our life is just, it's on a cycle. It's like we're on a rat wheel. Daily is just running. You got to get off of that wheel. That's to be able to reset. Phone have to reset. Computers have to reboot. We need to do it to our bodies. You know, like, you know, saying there's methods like shocking the body, like cold shower. You know, people, that's why people wake up and throw water in your face to wake you up. So the methods of even touching the body in places, tapping, positions of stuff, you know, taking your feet off, just standing outside, grounding, getting fresh air, breathing certain breaths and stuff, and help stimulate the circulation of the body, circulation of the cells, the breath, controlling it, controlling your breathing. Because when you're anxious and you got anxiety and panic and stuff like that, then that's a certain breathing pattern. But being able to control of your breath, like if you get in the water and you can go in the water and you can hold your breath for so long and then you have to come up. But if you swim and you know enough, the more you do it, the longer you can start being able to hold your breath and stay underwater longer, and build yourself up. So we build ourselves up the similar same way in life, you know, to where we can breathe woosah through things. So less things start frustrating you, because stuff gonna come to test you and challenge you to get you off. If I'm anchored and rooted in love and I'm in peace and I'm joy, something gonna come for it all the time. That's its assignment, because that's the way of the opposite and the negative. So a lot of times, if you want to use the term enemy or devil, whatever, that enemy or devil is doing this job a lot better than you need to be doing yours. So that means I got to be about my business more if my peace mean that to me, if my happiness means that much to me, then I'm going to hold on to it. No matter what's happening around me or who whispering or saying what, I don't have to give my attention to that thing that's going to distract me, get me off track. So if I'm rooted in where I'm focused at, I can let whatever say, because now it's trying to get me to feel. So if I don't want to feel sad. I don't want to feel depressed. I don't want to feel angry. I don't want to operate in that lower vibratory energy. I want to walk in love. I want to walk in joy. I want to walk in happiness. I want to walk in peace. It's a choice. A lot of times we're tricked out of our choice. And then we go with the feeling. We go with the emotion, the energy and motion. But when you start working on it, then you start, and then it said, be slow to speak and quick to hear. Provoke not thy child to wrath. Something always trying to provoke you. Now, if you're getting provoked in a good manner, that's great. But sometimes something trying to provoke you in the opposite manner. And so anger, depression, and attitude affect the health. It affects the body. Don't worry, be happy, smiling. I'm gonna just smile. Like if I ain't used to smiling, I had to practice and do that too, and still try to be aware of that. It's like laughter. It's say laughter good for the soul. It is just good medicine, because it sends off certain things in the body that lets the body know, and it becomes healthy for it. And that's good triggers. You got you triggered, but you triggered in a good way or you triggered in a bad way. So I want to practice. If you practice being triggered in the wrong way, then you want to reset and start practicing to be triggered in a positive way. But it takes discipline. It takes time. And first, it just takes the awareness of it. That's the beginning, becoming aware of it. Now, once you become aware of it and we're identifying it, now we can start making the shift and the change to do something about it. Because if we don't, then the results is definitely going to be detrimental. And in just a matter of time, it's going to continue to have a wear and tear on the body. And some people just body endure a lot longer than others. It said, physician, heal thyself. So we're in control of healing. Our energy in control of our healing space and what's around us, what we emanate, what we take in, what we reject. Peace, love, and light. Till next time. Support the channel, subscribe, like, share. Appreciate it. Blessings.